Hi, children. Are you excited for another interesting science class? Yes, I'm very excited to learn something new. You must be too, right? So, children, let us learn something new again today, okay? Now, on my right, you can see a beautiful tree, right? Beautiful tree with pink blooms. It is a plant. Now, I will ask you, children, where do plants grow? Where do the plants grow, children? Do they grow in the air? Do they grow in the water? No? Yes, they grow in something, brown, blackish thing that is the mitti, right? In Hindi we call mitti, in Nagamis we call mati. So, plants grow on, yes, they grow on soil. So today, children, we're going to learn so much about soil. Okay? Soil, soil. Now, what is this soil? Let us see. In the picture, you can see, as a little piece of land, right? See, in the upper part, you will find the green grasses. If you remove these green grasses, what will you find, children? If you dig out all this, if you remove all these green grasses, what will you find? You will find something like this. Yes or no? Blackish or brownish bits of particles. They are called soil. Okay, so what is a soil, children? Let us see. The outermost layer of the land, which is usually loose, is called soil. Once more, children, what is a soil? See this soil? The upper part, okay, the outermost layer of land. We live on a round globe called the earth, right? And we live above the earth. So that layer, the outermost layer of land. And yep, you can, just uh, mash it with your hands like this. It is usually loose. Okay? So that outermost layer of land, which is usually loose, is called soil. Well, now, do you wonder where this soil came from? How do the soil exist? Let us find out how soil is formed, okay? Very interesting. And soil is very, very important. Okay, soil is very important. Now, see this, the green lush, right? The green grasses, the green plants. Now, these plants grow on soil. Yes or no? Earlier, I have told you that plants or trees, they grow on soil. And what do the plants give us? The other class also we started about the importance of plants, right? So let us see, even today, animals. What is this? A cow? Cow feeding on the grass. See, cow is depending on the plants. Yes or no? A pig. A pig is also dependent on grass. Sheep, right? They also eat grass, right? And rabbits. So all these animals and so many other animals, they are dependent on the plants. They cannot live without the plants. Children, you must know that animals cannot live without these green plants. So the animals depend on the plants. And on the other hand, the plants depend on the soil. Okay? And we, what about we? We human beings, we depend both on plants and animals. Yes or no? We eat the food that plants give us. We eat the meat, the milk, the products that these animals give us. Yes or no? So man depends on plants and animals. Animals depend on plants and plants depend on soil. So soil is very, very important. Isn't it, children? Plants grow on soil. Okay, animals depend on plants. And in turn, man depend on plants and animals. So when I say soil, soil, I don't think it is very important. No, soil is very, very important, okay? Because we are all indirectly dependent on soil. So like I said, how did the soil came? How do the soil exist? Let us find out the formation of soil. How is soil formed? Children, you can see this huge stone boulder, right? This is a huge stone boulder. Big rock that is known as a boulder. Okay, a big rock, big stone is known as the boulder. So this big rock, what happens when it is always outside, right? It is always outside, taking the heat of the sun, the rain. It has no shade, it has no house, so it is all in the open. So if it stays in the open like this for a long time, what happens? See, you can see the heat of the sun, falling on the rocks, yes or no? And slowly, slowly, if it heats up, heats up, heats up, and then the big stone boulder will crack. It'll start cracking and it'll turn into small particles, okay? So rocks, the big rocks are broken into smaller pieces by the action of sun, okay? By the action of sun, like this, see, it has broken. This huge rock is also broken by the heat and by the action of wind. See, you can see the picture. Look at the rock. The shape of the rock is so weird, yes or no, so funny. But see, because of the wind has blown away the other part of the rock and now it is shaped like this. So by the action of wind, the rock breaks down and slowly, slowly this will crumble, yes or no? Crumble and form what? Let us see. So rocks are broken down by the action of sun, wind. See, the big rock, the wind keeps blowing, blowing, okay? The wind keeps blowing and slowly it'll become like this and slowly like this and slowly it'll break down into soil, okay? We will study that later. And by the action of water, see, can you see the water entering the rocks? Yes, by the action of water, see the shape of the rocks? Right, all these are done by the water. See, rocks falling down, the big, big rocks falling down into pieces, crushing down, and they get broken down into pieces. Now, soil, how is soil formed? Soil is formed, okay? Soil is formed by breaking down of huge rocks by the action of sun, wind, and water. And this process, what is this process called, children? The process of breaking down of rocks into small particles by the action of sun, wind, and water is called, yes, it's called weathering. What, children? It is called weathering. Weathering of rocks. So now you know that the big, huge stones, the rock boulders, they get broken down. By what? Not by magic, but by the action of the sun, the wind, and water. And this process is known as weathering. WEATHERING, weathering. Since it is caused by weather, right? Different weather. So it is known as weathering of rocks. All right. Then see, let me tell you in detail how the sun can break this hard, solid rock into soil. What happens is, children, during the daytime, the sun will fall, okay? The sun rays will fall on the rocks and it becomes warm, right? The rocks gets heated up. Okay, just like you take one piece of stone and heat it in the gas or in the stove or put it in the fire, take it out after some time, you won't be able to hold. It becomes heated. So just like this, the stone gets heated up during the daytime. Okay, during the daytime it gets heated up. But what happens at night? At night, the sun goes down and again the rocks cools down. Tanta. Okay, during the day, the rock becomes korom. During the night, the rocks cool down. So what happens during this cooling and heating? You know that, if you don't know, let me tell you, you know that everything expands on heating. So during the day, the rocks will expand a little bit, and during the night, it becomes cold, so it contracts. Okay, so expansion, contraction, that means becoming bigger and smaller, or expansion and contraction. Slowly, okay, little by little bit. We cannot see the expanding contraction just like a balloon. No, no, it's not like the balloons, okay? But though we may not notice it, during the day, it expands. During the night, it contracts. And after many years, it doesn't take a few days or a month. No, it takes thousands of years or hundreds of years for one rock to break like this. Okay? So, by the action of the sun during the day, rocks get heated during the day by the sun and gets cooled at night. This process of heating and cooling over several years causes huge boulders to crack and slowly break down to form what, children? Soil. So now you know how soil came to exist from the rocks. The rocks breaks down, and years after years after years, after hundreds and thousands of years, the rocks becomes soil. Okay? Now water, by the action of water, how can water break down rocks? That must be your question. How can water, crack these big boulders? See, let me explain now. When it rains, okay, the rocks will have small surfaces. Surfaces means small cracks, okay? All the rocks, they will have, because of the action of the sun, maybe they have, they develop some cracks, okay? Cracks in the rocks. And when the rain comes, the water gets, stored. The water enters like this. The water enters the cracks, surfaces like this. See? And what happens? Just like during just like the sun expanding the stone, even here during the day, when it is hot, sunny day, the water becomes hot, right? The water becomes hot, and it will expand. Okay, and if the water is expanding, then the cracks will also expand, right? And then it cools down during the night. And during winter, when it is very cold, wintry nights, the water will freeze. They get frozen up. Okay, they become ice. And when they become, frozen up and cracks, okay, during the time again, the cracks will expand. Okay, the small cracks will become big cracks like this, and slowly, over thousands of years or over hundreds of years, the rocks will slowly open up and break open, and again more water will enter and more, it becomes softer and it breaks down to form soil. So by the action of sun, by the action of water, the huge rocks are broken down. Yes or no? See? And during rainfall, the water may bring down these huge rocks from the mountainside. Yes or no? From the mountainside, it'll roll down, and as it rolls down, one piece of a rock will crash into another, and they will, break open each other, okay? It'll break into pieces like this. See all the dust coming out from the rocks. Okay, and it forms soil like this. Later on, slowly, again, they will form soil, okay? By the action of wind or by the action of maybe the wind brought this or maybe the water can bring this, okay? Then see, weathering by wind, weathering by wind. See, as the wind blows, it picks up small particles of sand and blasts large rocks with the abrasive particles, cutting and shaping the rock. Look at this amazing rock. See, look at the shape. It looks something like a wine glass, yes, with a small, tiny, slim handle. See, it looks like a wine glass. See? Now, how did this rock turn into this shape? Because of the wind. Yes or no, children? The wind blows, the wind blows, the wind will carry the, rough, harsh, abrasive means harsh, small particles, and they will come and crash into the rock, and slowly, 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 after hundreds and thousands of years, the wind, all this will get blown away, and it will get shaped like this. So, amazing fact, right? Even the stone is now this shape because of the wind. And all the dust particles you can see down there, they're all soil formed by this. So, how did the soil came? The soil came by weathering of rocks. Weathering of rocks by the action of the sun, water, and wind. Okay? So this class we have learned how soil is formed and why soil is important. Let us try to answer these questions, okay? I will not give you the answer, written, but you try to answer it yourself as I tell you, okay? You try to, let us have a quick revision, okay? What, children, what is soil? I told you that soil is the outermost layer of land. Okay, the outermost layer of land, which is usually loose. That is known as the soil. Very easy. How is soil formed? Soil is formed by breaking down of huge rock particles into small pieces. Okay? By the action of what, children? By the action of sun, water, and wind. Why is soil important to us? The third question. Why is soil important to us? Soil is important to us because plants grow on soil, animals depend on plants, and we depend on plants and animals. So soil is very important. Without the soil, there is no plants. Without the plants, there will be no animals. Without plants and animals, no human beings. That is why soil is very important. Now, what is weathering? See, weathering. Weathering is the process by which huge rocks, break down into smaller particles by the action of sun, water, and wind. Very easy. The agents of weathering. Mention the agents of weathering. The agents of weathering are, let me repeat again and again and again. The agents of weathering are sun, water, and wind. Simple as that. Okay. How does the sun break down rocks into smaller particles? I explained this in detail, right? The heat of the sun during the day, it expands the rocks, and during the night, it cools down. So this cooling and heating, gradually, that means slowly, makes the rocks crack, break open, and then, break into smaller pieces. Okay, so this is all about the soil that you need to know for now. Okay, for now you have to know all this. Very exciting, isn't it? So children, until the next class, you take care, keep washing your hands. Okay, don't forget to wash your hands with soap or hand wash. Keep washing your hands, and I will see you in the next class. Bye bye.